Good afternoon. In compliance with Chapter 551, Open Meetings Act of the Texas Government Code, I call to order a regular voting meeting of the Public Facility Corporation Board of Directors of Austin Austin Independent School District for Thursday, June 11th, 2026 at 5:03 p.m. A quorum of the board is physically present at the AISD Central Office to conduct this meeting. This meeting is being broadcast on cable channel 22 through Spectrum, Astound Broadband, and on channel 99 through AT&T Uverse. Closed captioning in English is available on these platforms for individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing. Thank you for joining us. We will move to the approval of the agenda. Secretary Boswell, do you have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Secretary, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Having a motion by Director Boswell and a second by, Aviso, thank you, Delphi, I'm so sorry. By Director Aviso to approve the agenda. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. The motion passes unanimously with a vote of 4 in favor by all those on the dais. We will now move on to the action item on this agenda. Secretary Boswell, do we have a motion to approve agenda item 2.1?
Yes, I move to approve agenda item 2.1, October 7th, 2025, Public Facility Corporation regular voting meeting minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Directors, are there any questions? Okay. Having a motion by Secretary Boswell and a second by Director Tovar to approve item 2.1, October 7, 2025, Public Facility Corporation's regular voting meeting minutes. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. The motion passes unanimously. Before we move on to the final action item on this agenda, I would like to note that a presentation was provided in advance of today's meeting and is included with tonight's agenda item in board docs. We have Nick Walsh from the NRP Group joining us to answer any questions from board members. We also have Summer Greathouse, our PFC legal counsel, joining us today as well. Nick. Directors, are there any questions?
Mr. Walsh, thank you for being here, and I applaud you both for all the work you're doing and the support you've given, to me and the community in East Austin. Are there any updates that we should know about? Any delays that we should know about?
Good evening, and thank you, Board Member Tovar. I'd be happy to run through the presentation briefly, and then if there's any questions from there. So tonight is for the approval for West, Nidiquoy West. This is the phase 2 of the transaction. As you know, this is a 2-phase transaction, 2 distinct projects, very, very similar, but we've only formally approved and began construction on the first phase. So back in October, that was the action that this board took. And hopefully today we get to get that approval for the second phase, which we will then hopefully begin later this year. So it is staggered about a year from each other. That's for construction reasons, but also for financial reasons and market reasons as well. So just a reminder of who we are. I'm Nick Walsh with the NRP Group, the development partner that was selected under the 2023 RFP. Of course, our entire team here you can see. Again, going back to November 2023 was when NRP began our partnership with y'all on this project. But of course, this site and the history of the redevelopment of the site has been going on for much, much longer than that. So where we are today is with the approval tonight, we will then be able to proceed with the financial closing of the second phase and begin construction toward the end of this year. And that's going to be, just like the first phase, about a 2 to 2.5 year long construction process. And I'll just show you, this is where everything is today. So I know many of you were able to join, actually all of you were able to join us for the formal groundbreaking ceremony earlier this year. This picture is just from last week. What you can see on the right side of the screen is the concrete foundation mostly in place for almost the entirety of phase one. And so the first phase of this project had proceeded with the demolition and asbestos remediation of the previous school facility. It also installed all of the shared infrastructure, water quality, drainage, detention, sanitary sewer, water, stormwater, all those types of things, the shared infrastructure that will service both properties. And then you can see here, of course, the concrete foundation, and that big crane there that came out last week is going to be installing the parking garage. So if you drive by the site, even within the next couple of weeks, you are going for the first time see something coming out of the ground. So there will be the parking garage going up, and pretty soon right after that, you'll see wood framing as the building starts to come together. So to answer part of your question, Board Member Tovar, no delays, no challenges, no concerns at this point, and I wish there was something to knock on, but you guys have wood up there, but it's going really, really smoothly for a project of this size, of this complexity. All the trees, I'm always worried about when you start construction if any trees are going to have issues, but as you can see in this photo, when winter finished and spring came along, they all are green and blooms right back up, so the trees are healthy, and that's definitely something that's important to the community as well. You can really see them clearly now. I know we've talked about this previously, but the right-hand side of your screen, that's going to be that public pocket park. The pecan grove there, you can see just the density of that. So we're gonna have the walking trails and things like that. That's gonna be open to the public, as well as the entire northern side of the site, which, there's still a little bit of soccer field there, but that's gonna be open to the public green space, as was the wish of this board. So what we're here again tonight for is the second phase, which is the left side of the screen. So you can see it's ready to go, it's cleared, it's leveled, and again, with the permission and authorization tonight, we'll be able to move forward with all of our closing conversations. And so the only major update to share is that we are officially capitalized on this transaction. The first phase was a partnership. The equity provider was Clarion Partners. They're returning for the second phase as well. And so Clarion Partners, this is through an Opportunity Zone investment fund. And so their investors are incentivized to participate in this because of its location. The Opportunity Zone program, which was recently just permanently reauthorized on a bipartisan basis in Congress last year, encourages investment in specific targeted areas to encourage that investment in all across the country. And then, the first phase, our lender was Goldman Sachs through their urban investment group. On this phase, I'm proud to say that we just signed up Frost Bank. So Frost Bank will be our construction lender. They are a great partner of ours, and of course, also a local Texas bank. So we're glad that they are going to be investing in this project and its success. Everything else, though, is the same. The total unit mix here, I'll just put in 334 units, so just slightly smaller than the first phase, which was 341. So still same, percentages. We still have the multi-bedroom floor plans. We still have the 60%, 80% units. That's all the same, just slightly smaller, just based on the way the final design worked out. So I'm happy to answer any questions. But yes, everything is going smoothly on the first phase, about 10% complete. First units delivered in fall of next year, 2027. And again, we hope to put a shovel in the ground before the end of this year on the second phase.
Excellent. Anyone else have any questions?
I have a question. Hi, Nick. How are you? So no construction issues, any community concerns as you have started construction?
Any what concerns?
Community concerns?
Community concerns. I'll just share one. There was one concern at the start of construction upon clearing the property that there was a fear that trees were going to be torn down. As you can see, as you all know, there was great effort to preserve all the heritage trees. So there was some concern by a community member. We were able to meet with them and, have a conversation. They had called the city as well. The city was able to come out and we were able to walk through the plans. But that's really the only thing that's been brought to my attention. So besides that, everything's been smooth. Probably the most challenging part of construction, I would say, is right now. When you're pouring the concrete foundations, because of the heat, they need to start very early in the morning. Sometimes early in the morning, more so middle of the night. So there could be noise associated with that. That's usually when we try, anyone that's nearby, we do try to forewarn, that that's happening. Fortunately, there's not on that side, the right side of the property, the east, there's not that direct single-family adjacency. When we move over to this phase, and when it comes time to do the foundation pouring for west, the second phase, I think we'll have to have better communication with the neighbors over there before that happens, just because, again, it's 4 a.m. and they're pouring concrete just because it's 100 degrees during the day, and concrete doesn't cure at those temperatures.
What is the plan for communication with the community?
Yeah, so typically we still have a listserv that we've collected through all of the public meetings we've done. We still have the phone number in place. There's still the billboards on each side of the site, on Gonzales, on Shady, and on Mansell. And it has a QR code. Still takes you to the website. And then typically what we've actually done is we print out flyers and we just physically deliver them to each of the houses, because not everyone has signed up, nor do they want my emails, but they definitely are going to want to know when it might be a little noisy in the middle of the night.
Are you able to share one of those flyers with us?
Yeah. So when it comes time to make it too, I'll make sure you guys get a copy if you can. And we would appreciate, sharing social media as well. Again, don't want people to accuse us of, we gave you a chance, we warned you as much as we could.
Thanks, Nick.
I just want to say, it sounds like you're doing a great job of being proactive with the community, and that is very notable. It's something that I just really wanted to, commend you all on. And yeah, knock on wood, I knocked on it from the dais.
Thank you. I'm glad you have it up there, because
Made me feel better.
Lights to the numbers. The apartment, yep, right there, that perfect one. I not a question, but I just want to take this opportunity to say how excited I am about workforce housing. And I think that sometimes we have not been as communicative to our community. And so what they hear is affordable housing, and not that workforce housing is not affordable housing, but there is a difference. And that is why the percentages do not look like people are expecting. And I know there was a lot of community disappointment. They were like, what? Do you know how much? It's like, it's workforce housing. It's to help out, right? And so I think I'm very pleased, again, always. Everybody knows my story. I'm not gonna tell it again here, but knows that a three bedroom is really important to me. If you have to rent in this city and you have children that are different genders, you can't put them in the same room. Like, I have a 17 and a 23-year-old. They gotta have their own room. And so as a renter, I appreciate the ability, because a lot of places now, especially in this area where we're building, it's studio, one, maybe two, and that second one is an office, right? And so again, we are doing our part. We cannot do it all. We live in a city, and there are lots of people who can help us out. But I think that for our first foray into this, I think that we've all done a really good job. I say we, meaning y'all, have done a really great job, and I appreciate the work that you've done to this point.
No, and thank you. And also I would say that Secretary Boswell, one of the things you had asked for back in October 2025 was more, or 24, was more family-oriented amenities, not just building the units that could be attractive to families with children, but the amenities. And so there will be that playground going in. The gyms, the fitness centers in each building have a children's activity room where, they could be in while the mother, the mom, whoever is on the treadmill perhaps, and you can keep an eye on them, but they can entertain themselves in a safe environment. So things like that was a first for me, frankly, to put into a project like this. But, again, it was through that collaboration that I think it's just going to be a better overall project for us, for teachers and staff of the district, and for the community at large.
I do have one clarification. Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you for that. I really appreciate all the amenities, and want to mention, too, that you're making space for a child care center with a partner. So thank you for that. And I do have a quick question. I don't know if it's a Summer question, a Nick question, just about, I think the media has been talking about it as teacher housing. and that's not really the whole story. Can you just clarify a little bit who has access to these units?
Yeah, I'm happy to. And I think that's an important distinction, and one I've tried to make as well, especially with the media, like you said. This is not, there are all kinds of projects across the United States. Some are, some districts have done teacher dormitories, right? This is, and it's been completely owned by the district, and it's something that they do. Well, this, of course, is not that. This housing is completely open to the public. It is first come, first serve. Half of those units are rent and income restricted, and those are at levels that, through the surveys and the work that we've done, we hope will serve and be available and be a good resource for teachers and staff of the district. We will have targeted marketing and outreach. We plan to do pre-leasing efforts. We plan to have a preferred employer program, all these things that we've talked about. But at the end of the day, we could have one teacher in here, we could have dozens. We could have a librarian, we could have a bus driver, you name it. But I think overall the idea is putting supply into this neighborhood that actually does include restricted units and does include family size units. And we know that overall that helps alleviate some of these pressures in a neighborhood like this, in a submarket of Austin like this.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And thank you, Director Boswell, because it reminds me of how during the groundbreaking, a lot of the narrative was that this was the district's vision. And I feel like there needs to be credit given to the community, because the community actually came up with this proposal. The district, Matthias, you, Summer, James have been outstanding with everything. But I do want to give credit to the community moving forward. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would just add the fact that the community, as someone who builds affordable and workforce housing all across the state, and Summer, who represents lots of boards like yourself and housing authorities all across the state, the fact that this community actually asked for housing and asked for affordable and workforce housing, nobody ever wants me building in their community. They say, not in my backyard, and that's just a testament to the fact that this community welcome this type of development, welcomed a quality project that they know will have a positive impact on residents, including residents that have been pushed out.
Thank you. Secretary Boswell, we have a motion to approve agenda item 2.2?
Yes, I move to approve item 2.2, resolution authorizing the Anitaquay Apartments West transaction.
Thank you. Having a motion by Secretary Boswell, I'm sorry, do I have a second? I apologize.
Yes, you have a second.
Director Avisa, thank you. Having a motion by Secretary Boswell and a second by Director Avisa to approve item 2.2, resolution authorizing the Anitaquay Apartments West transaction. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Excellent. The motion passes unanimously. Before we recess to executive session, I wanted to recognize Director Boswell, who requested to speak regarding a future agenda item.
Thank you very much, President Hunter, or Chair Hunter, whatever we are here. Thank you. I want to be sure, I'd love to talk to Summer. I do not recall that we've all signed, since the board grew, conflict of interest statements, and want to be sure that we're solid with our bylaws and doing everything we need to be doing. So I just wanted to put that out there as a future agenda item. If there's anything we should talk about, either get legal counsel behind, in closed session or publicly, anything we need to be doing or anything we need to kind of check off like that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just respond to that. I think that's a great point, and that's something that we can certainly work to develop. What I would recommend doing is that we develop a policy and not amend your bylaws, so that we can do it through a policy that would be approved by this board and would not need any other approvals. And then that way it's something that's a little more manageable. And if we want to amend it, if we need to address issues that have arisen, then it's within the control of this board. That would be my recommendation, and happy to work on that with you all.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
And I want to say, I don't think any issues have arisen. I want to be sure any issues don't arise, and that I think we've just missed a few steps along the way as we've created this and grown. Yes, so thank you.
We will now recess the open meeting at 522 pursuant to 551.072 to the Texas Government Code.
And we don't have to have an executive session unless you all feel that it's necessary to have an executive session to discuss real estate development.
I just have some questions. We don't need, if we can do it out here, it's nothing, well, it may have been some, I might need some legal advice.
Okay.
So, yeah, it'll be quick. It'll be
Perfect.
quick. So I think we're good. Okay. No action was taken. There, we're up. No action was taken. We are reconvening the open meeting at 5:32 PM. Secretary Boswell, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
The meeting is adjourned at 5:32 PM. Thank you all so much.